Hey, Rani here. Shall we make a game? Now, last time we ended up with a bit of a bug. We had some really messed up looking text rendering in our dialog box here. As soon as I ended the stream, I immediately realized what it was. It's actually a stateful text rendering system. So that means that you basically reset it and then write some text to it. And unlike previous tests, I wasn't resetting it. I then compared what happened when you do a reset versus the actual initial state, and that was different. I mean, it was acting slightly differently depending upon whether you were starting from an actual fresh state or whether you just reset. So that's the dialog system kind of working. I mean, it kind of works, I guess. So next up, I'm going to start building a bit more of this cutscene out. So one of the first things I want to sort out is the fact that the camera can kind of see off the top and bottom. I'm basically just going to extend the floor, ceiling and walls out a bit just to kind of work around that. So, I guess I'll just grab this entire ring of polygons and just copy it backwards. And then just check for some major discontinuities. There's one. Places that are now broken as a result of things moving around. Make sure we've got got a snapping turned on, and I think that's right. Yep, okay. And next up, I just need to do something on this side to make it look a bit less jarring. That'll probably do right. That looks a bit weird there. I'm going to replace that with the corner. Starting to spot a problem with this manual padding approach. It's making it quite easy to get lose track of exactly where I am on the texture map there. That'll do. And yep, the other sides look good. This side could do with something here though. So do I just grab all these and just flip them over to the other side of the model? I think I do. Let's just move the 3D cursor back to the center. Now, do I have backface culling on? No, I don't. Let's see which way those actually came out. They're backwards. And then duplicate vertices, and that will probably do. Let's just export that and see what happens. I think I've still got this set up so that, yeah, I've got it set up so that anything kind of marked as rendered is going to get exported. So sort OBJ, department, do a build. And okay, I think that's actually fixed it. Yeah, the reason it's like a black border at top and bottom. So I've actually got a fixed aspect ratio just so that I don't have to think about aspect ratios when developing the game. Okay, so next up we need to position this guy in the scene as soon as he kind of busts through the window. So let's just unhide our representation of the angel here. This is now a slightly outdated model, but it should be fine, as I've since extracted this guy to a different file. Let's turn off the 3D cursor. Kinda there is probably fine. Let's have a look through the camera. Okay, it's probably one facing the camera slightly more. So kinda like that, that'll do. Let's grab the coordinates out of here. And I should probably start renaming it. I think I've said this about eight streams in a row now. I should rename this function. It's just called like test2. All right, okay, so what do we have here? So we have busting the windows open. Are we actually storing the angel anywhere? Yes, we are. Okay. So we can copy these coordinates directly out of the Blender because we're using the exact same coordinate system. We do unfortunately have to convert this between degrees and radians, so oh, I was kind of expecting that to do that for me. Fine, I'll do the math. And you got to multiply by 2, haven't you, because it's radians. Hang on. I've done something wrong here. Oh, God. That looks about right. I'll take that. Scale it. And then we just need to apply that transform to, let's apply it to our mesh here. And yeah, see what that looks like. I should get rid of that box as well. There he is. I might give him a slightly different animation for there, but for now I don't think it's necessary. So we're going to need to think about it kind of composition-wise. Obviously, the dialog boxes are kind of going to go sort of like above them or something. And at the moment, there's not really a lot of space up there. We'll see. Yeah, so where's that dialogue thing? So I probably next want to wait for the animation to finish on the protagonist side. Sorry, just thinking out loud. Well, sort of stumbling through thinking out loud here. What do I actually want to attach the dialogue to? I probably want to attach it to the world, just because it's going to be kind of like shared and reused. Now, for the moment, I'm going to be manually positioning this dialog box, as I don't really have a proper sort of character system, and I also don't have any kind of way of, well, I mean, of attaching it actually to a character. Yeah, I don't have any kind of like a record of, like, say, where the head is or anything like that, so I'm just going to position it manually in the scene. It's probably fine. So this should pop in there and then create the dialog box. So I want to wait for this animation to finish. Now, at the moment, I don't really have any way of doing that. I guess what I could do is make it so that when you tell something to play an animation, where's that protagonist? There they are. I can make it so you can pass in a callback there. That'd be simple enough. Later on, for things like footsteps, I'm probably going to want more advanced callbacks, say, like embedded in the animation itself, but this will probably do for now. So, where is it? Where is it? There it is, set animation. And probably going to want a new kind of callback type for this, so we can fill it out later. Oh, I'm in the wrong file. What am I doing? Yeah, we'll pass in nulls to say that we don't want it. Nice and simple. We're going to need a new array to keep track of these. So every arrow that we're currently copying stuff down, we have to copy it down there as well. go everywhere we're currently managing this. Ah. Oh, I might also want the ability to pass it when I'm creating ones, well, I didn't think about that. Ah, okay, yeah, this is a sparse array, isn't it? Yeah, this is a sparse array, yeah. It's only the meshes that are actually a dense array because that's the one we're iterating through very often. So, implementing this actual callback should be simple enough. It should be just a matter of, first of all, import the file that has null in it because you don't have a null by default in C, which is so strange. And since timer callback, I'm just going to pull this callback out. Now, just thinking about this, I probably actually want to execute all of this after this, and the reason for that is this callback might actually play a different animation. So I'm actually just going to store a flag saying whether or not we're going to be executing a callback. And then I'm going to reassign it here. And only if we get to the end do we then execute the callback. Okay. Ah. And yeah, I need to add it as an argument as well. Right, that'll probably work. This will probably produce many compile errors, as I don't have it specified anywhere in here. We'll give the compiler a moment to catch up. Yeah, there it is. Very unhappy with that. Yep, still unhappy with that. Nearly there. This list of errors is getting shorter. Oh. I pasted one type right into the middle of another rather than replacing it. Oops. Oh, yeah, I'm not actually passing in the callback here. That's why it's complaining about that. Go on. Ah, still more. Oh, I put this new argument in the wrong order. Damn it. Now are you happy? It's looking like it. Right. So, That at least didn't crash, which is a good sign. I might start splitting this file up as well. Okay, all right, looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Man, so many places I have to go and edit once I've made that tiny change. Right, is that going to work? Probably not, because I moved all these, well, I moved this file, I mean, everything it imports has to be moved as well. Once this is kind of sorted out, I'm just going to move all these animations into separate files. Yeah, let's name these a bit more meaningfully now. This is no longer a test room, it's actually the intro to our game. Does this still work? Yeah, it does, good. I still haven't named any of my characters. That's a bit of a problem. How do you name characters? Use like a random number generator? That seems kind of fair. Okay, so the protagonist is going to recover from their kind of shock, and then we're going to show some dialogue. And then we're going to set a, we're going to wait for user input. That's actually something we can't do yet. We'll have to figure out how to do that. So, how would this angel introduce themselves? They'd be trying to appear kind of, sort of, you know, they're probably speaking using that very, very, very simple English, but very kind of authoritative, kind of, almost kind of like a radio voice, I imagine. Probably address them as something like mortal. Yeah. And they probably wouldn't beat around the bush. They'd probably just immediately be, they probably wouldn't be, you know, it's kind of like sort of brash as to just immediately go, oh yeah, you're dead by the way, mate. They're probably like, you know, your time has come. You know, make it very, very, very obvious and straightforward that they're dead, but not be rude about it, be professional. So for the sake of for now, we'll yeah, something like that. And we're going to place this dialog box above his head. So where is his head going to be in the scene? You used to be able to click to place the 3D cursor. I wonder if you can still do that. So we can just grab his head location and this. Dead easy. And where's the bit where I'm setting? There it is. That's the bit where I'm setting the animation. That should work. We can get rid of this image import that was just used for debugging. Okay, let's make that and see where we end up. Probably won't build first time. Nope, didn't think it would. We need to void off that component ID as we're not using it. Right, so smack straight into the window. Okay, plays animation, and then... Oh yeah, the final frame for this is actually quite long. You know what? That doesn't actually look terrible. I didn't think there'd be enough room at the top of the screen, but that kind of is. I might push it up slightly. In fact, when I put the speech bubble part on the bottom of it, that will do it for us. Let's put a full stop in there and a new line. So it's going to be like, mortal, your time has arrived. Rather than being mortal, your time's arrived. Yeah. Put a bit of a pause in there for extra gravitas. Oh, happy days, the engine crashed. Oh, I think I know why. It kept calling into this because this animation was left running. So let's let's adjust that animation. Let's get rid of the last frame from it because we only want the first one. So we only want the ones before it. And let's just make an animation that's just the guy sitting down. It might want like a second frame or something later on, but for now, it's just going to be him sitting there. And as part of the script down here, I want the guy to be sitting. It probably ran out of dialogue components or something. It would have been stacking them up the whole time. Where it was like 8 or 9 like layered up dialogue boxes for it ran out of components. Okay. Okay, might want a slight pause there, I think. So, yeah, next thing, we need a way to wait for... I'm just going to commit the animation changes I just made. And in here, I'm going to add a... Where am I going to do this? Guess I could sort of make another step here. Yeah, so this is kind of how scripting is going to work in this. It's going to be just like a big chain of tiny functions, each of which kind of occurs after a delay. Yeah, timer component. I might make just like a big sort of master import that imports all of the common things I'll be using. Just because there's going to be so many of them. So we want a timer, we want it to execute this after a pause, and let's say 30 frames. Let's just see how that looks. That looks a bit better. It gave him kind of like a moment to kind of like catch his breath. I'll slightly extend it to say 50 frames. That's probably about right. So next up, we need to wait for mouse input. So how are we best going to do this? I guess that might, because this is going to be something that's not specific to a component or an object in the world. It's like a modal kind of like complete sort of freeze. So I guess some stuff I should start doing is introducing some kind of like additional pointer state on top of what we already have. So we already have this function here to kind of like layer the pointer onto the screen. I'm going to start making it track some internal stuff so that it can tell if a click is new or if it, if the button's being held down, for example. Okay, so now we can have a look at this. We're going to track the previous pointer state and then compare them so we can tell if it's clicked in this frame and it wasn't the one before. So here we need to make a track for the state. I'm going to start it in unavailable, so then it's always going to kind of be like that. Make a record of what it was last time. Maybe later on we'll do things like we'll start implementing things, let's say tracking the coordinates so we can tell if you're dragging and things like that. For now though, we don't really need that. So when we're selecting, we check the previous state. We're going to have a nice bool available. Oh, why do I have this header stuff in here? That shouldn't be in here. And I guess once I've actually implemented all of this, I can have like a, say, a callback or something you can set that will get executed by this whenever the mouse is clicked. It must be modifiable. That's modifiable. It's a bool, isn't it? Oh, is it not going to let me do it const here because it's... Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, so we need to check the previous state. Yeah, that's some better naming. You might need like up and down. events. That should be pretty good. All right. Right, I've already got myself into a real mess here. Oh god, what am I doing? Let's add a helper just to determine whether air state counts as being held down. Otherwise, this is going to end up being really unwieldy. Okay, all these states are no, we're not clicking, so return false for those, and this state is true. Later on, I'm probably going to add more states for things like light guns and touch. So, but for now, we just got the mouse pointer. Nice and easy. Not going to win the computer science prizes for writing that one, but it'll do. Our next selection start. Yeah, that'll do. Now, this is going to start getting really like naming-wise confusing, so I might just start sequencing these into kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4 or something. Now, I actually want this to be the first time we have a choice in the game. I haven't yet decided exactly how I'm going to do choices in terms of implementation, because I don't want to be resizing a dialog box to add a new line on it. That'd be kind of annoying. But also, you can't really pass in more than one piece of text because... Yeah, you can't pass in more than one piece of text because the formatting system only allows you to pass through one at a time via that global variable. We'll figure it out. Okay, so next up we're going to put something over the protagonist's head, and where is that roughly? Where is that roughly going to be? Let's grab the center of those two. And how high up off the ground are we going? We are going roughly... Oh, no, not that. We're going roughly there-ish, right? So about 1.6 meters. All right. And I still haven't named my protagonist. Probably use a random number generator later. Okay, so what would this guy say? He'd probably be like, kind of like in shock, right? We're kind of like, Oh, I need to think about this. That's where a menu's going to be. Yeah, I was just thinking about this. A menu probably isn't going to have a line of dialogue from the protagonist because it's going to be a list of choices, and they're not going to be kind of like, say this, and then one of these things. It's always going to be like, pick an entire line. So maybe this is a different system now that I think about it. Oh, hang on. Maybe each one of these should be a separate component with a different offset or something along those lines. You have to think about that. Yeah, okay. In the meantime, let's get this implemented. Right, and kind of similar to what we just did with the, in here we're just going to have a callback with no parameters just so we can kind of have it kind of banked for later, so we can add parameters if we want them. No parameters from there, that'll do. That will do. I'm just going to dump this into here, nice and quick. Ooh, that. Thinking about it, this should also be cleared whenever you start a new script. That would make a lot of sense. Okay, let's go to our script system and let's put that in there. All right, okay. I wouldn't go that far, but how you doing? Oh, I've already forgotten what I've just called that type, damn it. That's what I called it. And then we're going to check in this, see if we've got this flag set, and if we do, and if we have a callback to execute. Now we're actually going to clear the callback before we actually execute it, as calling the callback may set another one. We want to have it, we don't want to be, for example, hey, things like keyloggers can be quite complicated, right? I mean, you got to hook into some OS APIs that are probably quite hard to find. I'm just working in my own little kingdom of just nonsense here. One of the specific streams that, one of the specific purposes of what I'm working on here is that it has as few kind of dependencies as possible. Game prototype, I'm trying to get one done by Halloween. Probably not going to happen, despite the fact I tried to keep it simple. Well, I say that, but it's really not simple. So it's actually a software renderer that runs inside the web browser, compiling C to WebAssembly and then executing it in the browser. Eventually, other platforms. This is about as far as it's got. Cheers. Don't look at the code too closely. You won't think it's dope for very long. So yeah, the problem is if I do this, right, if this itself sets a callback, this will then clear it. So we actually need to take a copy, clear it, and then execute it. Oh God, what is happening? Okay, so yeah, that should work. And now I just need to copy the callback over whenever I set one here. Let's see if that works. It probably won't. So yeah, one of the most messed up things is, oh, that has hit an error. It kind of got sort of jumbled up by Meg though. Is that I don't have a memory allocator. So everything's just fixed sized arrays just declared globally. It's great. I could have a memory allocator. It's just that, again, I'm trying to keep external dependencies to the absolute minimum. So that's the kind of thing I've just not brought in. It can't be const. That's fine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. How's it going? Today I'm causing chaos, much like every day. I don't know about that. Yeah, so what we're currently doing is trying to implement some basic kind of like... yeah, so the triangle renderer is actually one of the most complex bits of this. I did not do any research before I wrote this, and it's just complete nonsense. Oh no, no. Yeah, Terry Davis is probably not a million miles away from where I'm going to end up. And it turns out I've written one of the most inefficient triangle rasterizers basically ever. But because it's so low resolution, it basically doesn't matter. Right, so we should now be storing a pointer. Did I actually put anything in here to actually call into this function? No, I didn't. I need to pass all these in. Yeah, this game is not going to be even remotely done by my kind of like self-imposed deadline of Halloween. Yeah, he definitely was. I mean, like some of the stuff he was achieving was just insane. I mean, it's kind of sad how it all ended up because building an operating system from scratch, even one within kind of the boundaries he kind of self-imposed, is ridiculous. Okay, so I'm trying to set a callback here, and this isn't working, probably because I haven't imported that. Okay, what's this on now? Have I brought in the point? Again, I just haven't brought it in. Now, have I actually implemented this anywhere? Probably not. Let's see if that works. Looks like it's building. So, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he's definitely a smart guy. He definitely like knows way lower levels than I do. So the reason this is taking so long to compile is something that's really cursed. To keep it as simple as possible, at least from kind of like a runtime code perspective, I'm actually converting all assets into C files. So I've got, for say like the bitmap font, every single character in that font is a separate target file. And then they all get compiled to C. And then every single one of those gets compiled. It would not scale to a big size project. Okay, so this should show some dialogue when the animation finishes. And then if I click, it actually worked. I was not expecting that. Okay, next step, I need to actually delete the old dialogue. And then that should mean that we don't get the two kind of overlaid. So I'm just going to commit that before I forget to do it. Usually forget to commit things and then end up with like a stack of 15 different things. I'm always like, I don't know what came from where and what went where. Yeah, Temple OS, I think it was called, right? And I think he also made his own C compiler called Holy C, if I remember. Okay, I'm just going to commit all of that, actually. Yep, that'll do. I believe it even had the ability to like embed 3D models in the code or something. It's quite insane. I guess. Alcoholic Burden sounds like every code base I ever work on. Right, so I haven't thought at all about how much I'm going to implement a menu. So this is super cursed, but the way the dialogue works is because you can actually write in multiple fonts at once, and again, it's a zero allocation code base. There's just some global arrays of glyphs and stuff. You basically just sort of dump into it one at a time, and then when you actually put a dialogue on the screen, it actually just grabs it out of that global array. You know, it's got stuff in here to like do like text alignment and stuff, but that means that you can only actually have one piece of text kind of buffered up before you go into any function call. So I presumably need to kind of like have multiple calls, so like append a bit of text one after the other. So I've currently have the dialogue component. I might add the ability to add an answer to it, which would mean changing the height of the component as it goes, but that's not the end of the world, I guess. I have only got about 10 minutes left today. Yeah, I'll define the function and figure out what to do with it later. That seems like a tomorrow problem. I'm going to Google that. I don't know what that is. I'm going to guess. Okay, I have to look it up another time. At some point, I'm going to get told to search something. It's going to be risque. What is this? I'm going to have to Google this later on and find out what on earth I'm looking at. Okay. Okay, we need to fetch the index of that particular. Yeah, I've got this function there. Yeah, Terraria. I've got that myself. I've never actually really played it. Right. So I've got my dollar component index. I next want to actually define. What do I need to define it? I just need to track the number of lines and how tall it was. Yeah, that's all I actually need to track is how tall. No, I need to track how tall each individual option is so that I know which one you're mousing over. Sorry, it's me programming. Probably about 25 years. C, I haven't actually done a huge amount of it. Oh, I just realized I got the wrong number in there. Oops. Yeah, I've had way more dialogue components than I ever meant to have. Do you mean like the what is even happening? Uh-oh. I'm seeing links in the chat. Oh no. Yeah, it seems like even like just normal websites try to dox you. The amount like the amount of things you have to do to stop Google like giving away your exact location is ridiculous. Even if you have personalized search turned off and you have location-based search turned off, it will still basically list your hometown when you do a Google search for something like cinema. It's ridiculous. Right, so I want to reset the number of options in this dialog to 0 when it's created. And yeah, next up I want to get the number of options already made. I also want to store how tall the dollar box we're actually attaching the option to is. I think I've also got, yeah, I've got a sort of like a mock-up of where I'm trying to go with the dialog box. Something I've just considered is that I'm going to have this like speech bubble bit on the bottom. Well, I hope that never goes too south for you. But yeah, so I'm going to have this like, speech bubble thing here. So if I was going to have options on this, like where would they go? Kind of like down here? That would look a bit weird. I guess I could just get rid of the speech bubble and kind of like do something like this when you have options. South Africa is so it's a very near time zone to me, but it always kind of feels like it should be in a different time zone. You go, oh, that's a long way away. It must be in a completely different time zone, but it's obviously almost perfectly in line in terms of it's longitude, isn't it? Yeah, it's longitude. So I guess I can kind of do something like that for an option. Okay, that looks cursed enough. I think I'll go with that. Oh, the padding's uneven. Looks really weird. This editor, no, this editor's just a sprite, but this nonsense here. I'm trying to think exactly how I want kind of options to be presented. I think something like that would be pretty good. And then if I had multiple options, it just kind of like, split it up into bands. So it's like clear that they're separate. So this is currently the code that actually draws the current dialog box. It's a bit crude. The most important thing is I need to actually store the height that I've actually drawn so that when it comes to drawing another option after it, I know exactly where to put it. So I think I've got a, total rows there. It's getting spicy in here, what's happening? Anyway, store that, and we now have our index into here. So yeah, just it's been a long day today. My brain is just completely shot. It's been completely shot the whole week. It's taking way longer to kind of like just even think what I mean. So error handling in this project, way too much work. So any error at all, anything goes wrong at all, just crash the entire application with some text. Why not? Yeah. Man, my brain is so done. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop there because that's been an hour and I am so fried. Thanks very much for joining. I hope you had fun. I hope you have a great weekend.